Unique in the Creek. Okay, so I am using the wreath, the character board. The character board, if you didn't know, is a solid back, okay? What we do is you put the vinyl right on to the solid piece of the character board, and you make your frame and your sign all one piece. So it's less expensive than buying signs and stuff like that, and it's less hassle. You don't have to glue and all that stuff. So I'm going to show you how easy it is. So we're going to use the Unique in the Creek Squeegee. It makes putting vinyls on much easier and no air bubbles. I got a little water bottle. I actually have to get some more of these. I had these on my website and I forgot to order more. A little bit of water, a piece of paper towel, your character board. Now you want to make sure I started already, just so we're not sitting here forever. But on the character board, you will see there's 2 holes at the top. They are kind of divoted in, or chamfered is the technical term. Thanks, Tina. Those are your hanging holes. Then you will see a set of 3 holes with a number 1 and a number 2. So there's only 2 rows on the character board. Well, actually 3, because I a lot of times use the hole on 1 to the outside of the board. So technically you could do 3, okay? So to put the vinyl on, you're not going to want to preload your board like I am. I only did this so we can go a little bit faster with this live. If you're not used to doing a character board, don't put your stuff on until you put your vinyl on, okay? I'm just kind of used to doing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to squirt a little water. Now, if you don't have a spray bottle or anything, you can just get dampen a paper towel and kind of dab it onto your board. And what this is doing is it's just going to give you some time allowance. If the vinyl is not straight like you want it, you can actually peel it back up and reposition it as many times as you want. These are water-soluble vinyls. So this is technically, it's called the wet method. Industrial outdoor vinyl. These are printed on with UV protection, so they won't fade. They will last a long time. Okay, so what we're going to do, again, this is vinyl 1701. You're just going to peel the sticker, it is just a big sticker, right off the sheet. Okay, just like that. Now, sometimes you may have to pick it because it seems like it's going to be really, really thick, and they're not that thick, okay? And what I'm going to do is, this is the top of my wreath, and I don't do any of this precise. You can measure and all that. With the help of the little bit of water, it makes me a little more confident, because if I do not put it on straight, I'm good. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the 3 holes that are direct middle and the 3 holes right at the bottom. That is the direct center, and this is the center going this way. So I'm basically, and this one, the turtle's kind of floating sideways anyways. So this one, it really doesn't matter if you're straight or not. But what you're doing is you're just putting your sticker down on the solid part of the board, just inside the holes that are the closest to the center. Okay, so there's my top. I'm going to leave it there because, like I said, this one, you can't really do it crooked anyways. So once you have it on, you're going to take your squeegee. We do sell the squeegees. If we do a kit with vinyls, we do put a squeegee in the kit, so you may already have one. But they're a couple dollars. They are so handy because they really, really help get the air and the water bubbles out. So what I'd like to do first is to save the longevity of the felt that's at the bottom of your squeegee. I just put a paper towel over that, because when we start squeegeeing, some water is going to come out, and the paper towel will help soak up the water. So what you're going to do is once you have your vinyl placed where you want it, you're going to put your squeegee just in the center and angle it about 45 degrees and come straight out. And you'll see water on your paper towel. And you're going to go and do that all the way around. Okay, start in the middle and work your way out. Now, if I wanted to change it, I still could lift it up. It is not cured. I could still lift it up and reposition it. So if you've already squeegeed and it's like, oh, that really isn't centered, or you got a big dog hair or a big piece of glitter underneath because you want to make sure there's nothing on there, you can still take it up, take the glitter out or whatever it is, and then you can still put it back down, okay? So once I go around with my paper towel and my squeegee, then I just use my squeegee to get a better pressure, and that helps with any of the air bubbles that might be trapped. So again, just go around, and with this protected felt, it's not going to scratch your image or anything. And that's it. That's all there is to putting on the vinyls. For the rail, you would do it exactly same for the rail as you do for the character board. We may have, and there we go. We have our sign and our wreath frame all in one piece. There we go. There's nice back. When you use the florals, I know the tulips are all the rage right now, so you can absolutely use any flowers you want to do this same creation, okay? It doesn't have to be tulips. It doesn't have to be the ones I'm using. It can be anything. I like to put a little bit of mesh with my florals because then I don't have to use as many florals, okay? The mesh really does help cover everything. And it's almost like a backdrop too. So it will really make my florals pop. And I am using, I bought 2 packages, 2 of these bags. I've used, I don't know how many projects I've used already, and I still have some. So the link for these particular flowers are on Lori's Favorite Tools, and I have tools on my website. They're fairly inexpensive. Okay, there was 12 bushes in each bag, and the bag was $16.99. Okay, so there is all kinds of colors. I just bought purple and yellow this year. Thank goodness. Because it seems like I'm doing a ton with them. So they look like this. They are all plastic, including the flower. Okay, so it's great. They are supposedly UV resistant. I don't believe it. It's made overseas. But, you know, if you have it on your front door, it should be okay. Anything in the sun in time will fade. So I'm opening there's 7 stems, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm just going to get my wire cutters here. And where I'm cutting is like 1/4 of an inch from the last, these don't move, just 1/4 of an inch from the last bud that's coming out of the stem, okay? So it doesn't matter where they are. Some are higher, some are lower. I'm just going right almost at the base of this stem, okay? These are really, really pretty because they do have like a boxwood greenery on them as well, and it's so vibrant. So I loved the purple with the green because it's going to bring out the purple and green from my turtle, right? This is going to be so cute. Okay, so that is how I cut my, my florals. And I am also using a little bit, only 8 pieces of this lavender horizontal wide stripe mesh. So you're only going to use about 1/4 of the roll. Now I've had this roll kicking around for a while. I keep using pieces of it. Like I said, I'm only using 8. All right, you can use the bright green that I did on the oval. It would also look as well, really nice as well. There's the bright green. So if you want to check that out, I have it on YouTube, and I did an oval with a bunch of these flowers and a spring metal sign. But I'm going to use this lavender because I love this color. And I cut 8 pieces at 12 inches. Okay, my friends, 8 pieces at 12 inches. And I'm going to be doing every other set of holes. So it doesn't matter where you start. Okay, I'm starting where it's the 1 and the 2. Okay, I'm going to go down the first hole and back up. So from hole 1 to 1.5. See that? Okay, these ones are, you'll see what I'm going to do because I'm only using every other. I was just trying to prep a little bit ahead of time so we weren't here for a long time. Okay, I cut 8 pieces at 12 inches. I did not wood burn them. I just cut them with my rotary cutter because this doesn't fray too bad, and I'm going to use the kerfuffle, which is you're going to have curl up, factory finished edges on the right and left hand side of me. The cut where I cut is at the top and bottom. You're going to take your bottom edge, bring it up just approximately to the middle. Okay, then you're going to take your top and bring it about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch past the bottom. Okay, and you want to make sure that the seams, everything is lined up. So you have a rectangular piece, just like that. Okay, with this. The seam is facing upwards. There's the seam, okay? And then we're just going to pinch by using our thumbs and our pointer finger, and you're just pinching or pleating and dragging, okay, to the top. So it gives you this kind of bow tie formation, right? We're gonna flip that over, okay? Because we don't wanna see this edge, this cut edge, just in case it does fray. If it does fray, that's okay because it's facing down and nobody's going to see it. All right. And then I'm going to take the center of my bow tie, place it on right in between the zip tie head and tail, and come around the center and do it up. Now I'm not going to do it up super tight yet because I'm going to flip it towards the outside of the board. So it's kind of making a frame for the wreath for my flowers to sit in. And once you flip it, then you can tighten it. Now for this one, it's good to have the head of the zip tie just a little bit towards the back. Now not right in the hole, just towards the back a little bit because we will be putting flowers over top of this zip tie, okay? So we're skipping that one, so I just put a zip tie in. And then we're going to go down this one again and put another piece of mesh. Down one hole, up the other. 12-inch piece. Now you can make these as big or as small as you want. 12 seems to be a good size for this. Curl up. Factory edge on your left and right. Come up. With your seam, bring the top down, pinch right up the middle. Okay, there's our bow tie. Put this downwards. All right, I have it flipped out, so you can do that before you put the zip tie on, or put the zip tie around it. And I just like to make sure that both sides are the same length. Zip it up, and then again, try and pull the head just towards you so it's not right flat, right directly in the center. And I'm going to go around and cut off the zip ties. So 8 kerfuffles at 12 inches. Okay, so now where I put the kerfuffles, we are going to put another zip tie over top. So go down and up, and you're going to just close it until you hear that zip, okay? And then we already have one here. We're going to do another one here. And again, you can do the full board. You can do the whole board with all flowers. All the flowers like these. Okay, so our board, when you flip it over, every hole from 1 to 1.5 has a zip tie, right? Perfect. And now we're going to go around and we are going to preload the hole that's closest to the vinyl to the middle hole to the 1.5. So hole 2 back to 1.5, and we are going to preload closed zip ties there. Okay, when we call the middle hole now a shared hole because it's sharing a hole. The hole is being shared by another zip tie. So down and up and do it up. You can also, if you have like a bowl or something, you can also preload by taking your zip tie, putting the head down the empty hole here and the tail on the other one. Stick them all in, and you want the flat part of the zip tie head facing to the inner part of the 2 holes. That way when the head and tail come together, they will zip up and lock. Okay, so we are ready to rock and roll. So basically now we are going to just be putting in our florals. So I have a bucket here, and we're going to be doing 3 pieces on the inner and 2 pieces on the outer. And normally you would do a little bit more, but because I'm using mesh, this is a good way to use less florals. Like I said, we're going to do 3 on the inner, row 2, and what I'm going to do is just basically line up the bud part that's jutting out from the stem there. Line the 3 of them up beside each other. Take this whole thing, and I'm going to put it, it doesn't matter where you start, I'm going to put it into the inner hole here, inner zip tie, and you can see that the bottom buds are actually in the zip tie. Okay, so that's 3, and then I'm going to do 2. And the nice thing of these, they're not all dark purple. They have dark purple and a little bit of lavender. So they're really pretty flowers to use, and they're plastic. So again, now I'm going to do 2, have the 2 nubs or whatever these things are jetting out. I am going to put those here in right until that you can see that my zip tie is going to go over top of where they're jetting and pull this tight. Now you can trim this a bit down if you want. Mine's pretty, if you do it about 1/4 of an inch, you're good. Okay, and you can also add a titch of glue just in case you're not extremely confident that the zip ties will hold, which they will. But it's always better to be safe than sorry, right? All right, and then we're going to cut the zip tie tails off. So basically we're using 5 stems per row, and they're all going to build up on each other, so you won't see any of the board. Okay, now we can lift just a bit. You can lift it up off the mesh a bit, just like that. But you can do that at the end. So then we're just going to Grab 2. We're going on to the next one. So you want to go, wherever you start, you want to go in a circle, because these will layer. And then the inner is going to be 3. Now you can make it fuller. You can definitely add more if you want. This is the basic to cover it all up, to make sure everything's covered. All right, so you put it in there. Just put a little bit of glue. Nobody will see any of that. And you just continue on. So we got 2. And then 3. And then once we're done all the way around, we can lift them and move them around. But you can see how just the little bit of lavender mesh gives it a really pretty backdrop, and it really brings out the little lavender flowers that are in here. So you can see that there's dark purple and lavender. However, look, brings out all the colors of my turtle. Isn't it cute? And then cut the zip tie. Okay, so let's go around. Let me put these back. I'm just going to go around and kind of lift them up and kind of separate them a little bit. Make sure I want some of the greenery and florals to go a little over my sign here. Not over my turtle though. Just lift them up just a little bit, just so they're not flat on the board. Love it. Now you could do this with any of the vinyls. Yeah, with the 5 in each row, perfect. You don't see any of the board. It doesn't look like there's too much. You can still see the lavender mesh peeking out behind. But you can use your tulips, you can use sunflowers. It depends what you have in your center, right? All right. Yes, this is a horizontal wide stripe. It's a very inexpensive mesh. One of my faves. And I only used 8 pieces of it. All right, so we're going to take a zip tie and we are going to go down and then back up this other hole. Again, nice neat back. If you are selling this, you want to put your sticker, if you have any stickers made of your business, or tape a business card, or if you don't have that, write your Etsy store or whatever where you're selling, even write it on the back with a Sharpie marker, just little. What do you guys think? Even down at the bottom corner, like right here. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little one, just because. If they don't want it, they can take it off. Let's just do one. I'm gonna do it in the bottom corner. I'm gonna come in the behind with this green. Let's try this. Do the 2. 5-inch loop. just using the two. Normally I zip tie around it, but this is just such a simple bow. I'm just going to put a pipe cleaner on there and twist it. Ooh. Okay, I'm just going to go down, just separate. There we go. So I can see the hole. I'm just going to go down. One, and then down the other. Now you can make long flowy loops if you want, or tails. So it's just, they're just small. Like you can do really long curlier loops. I think I like it. I definitely love the vinyl. Anyways, that is all I got for you. I hope you liked it. Yes, it's so cute. So we can put the pipe cleaner back down the hole. We want to keep everything nice and neat. Perfect. All right. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Have fun. Like I said, you can use any kind of florals. Add a little bit of mesh to the background of it. Makes it really super cute. Yeah, the character board and a vinyl. Thanks everybody for joining me from wherever you're watching from, and we will see you guys soon. All right, everybody?